Welcome to the show, Supta.
Thank you.
How
Thank
you
you.
doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Good to have you here, finally. I'm so
Yeah,
happy.
after such a long time,
I
yeah?
know, but I'm
Yeah.
persistent, ne?
You're very consistent. Ndiyabona uyonivela nangezinye ii-angles. Sendibona uAndile, the journalist DJ. Say, hey, ndoda, there's someone that wants to,
Yeah.
so
We actually interviewed him here, I think a few weeks ago.
yeah.
And then he was like, yeah, I know people. So we're like, you do? We were like, okay, call him now.
Oh, you wanted to test it out?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he does know
Yeah,
me.
we wanted to put
Yeah.
it to the test.
Let me just
And then you
confirm
didn't
it.
answer.
Being busy or
Okay.
being lele or hey, now I need the rest.
I can imagine,
Yeah.
considering that now you're not working 7 to 10 anymore.
It's a big shift. I mean, think about it. You start adapting to preparing for work at 5 p.m. And when I say prepare, like preparing to go to work, not content. Because
Yeah.
I know people would think, you only prepare at 5 o'clock for your show. Well, back then,
Yeah.
to preparing to go to work at 10 p.m. for a midnight show.
Imagine.
So that's a big shift. Now, I was working between 7 and 10. Now I just came back from the gym and I'm spending time with my family to prepare to leave them in a few hours to go to a radio show. So it's like a
Yeah.
complete shift.
I can imagine. That must be crazy. How's your radio journey been, though, so far? Because, I mean, you've been in radio over 11 years, hey? Because you started in community radio
Yeah.
stations.
It's been a long journey. It's been a long journey. It doesn't feel like it though, funny enough.
Okay.
It doesn't feel like I've been doing radio for a long time. And I guess when you do something that you love, it doesn't feel like work. It hasn't felt like, xa ukhe wasebenza in a place where you don't enjoy working or you
Yes.
don't like what you're doing. You're counting the
I
years.
can relate, yes. I've been there before.
So, doctor, you've been here for 20 years. You're just like, I feel
Like, I feel it, yeah.
My
Yeah.
body can feel it. And with me, every time I narrate my story about my radio journey, that's when I realize and it just takes me back to, damn, I've been doing this thing for a long time. So I started in Elwell North where I was born,
Okay.
and I grew up there. I just had an interest in this radio thing. I would usually transport my mom from school to home because we stayed in town and she used to work at a secondary school. Yavantindibi is a secondary school.
Okay.
At a secondary school
Yeah.
in Alwell North, the high school.
Yeah.
And I used to pick her up after school. And during that time, she would be listening to radio.
Oh, okay.
And that's how I started falling in love with this thing called radio. I would hear Yabo Batukada, Botwasa, because my mom used to listen to Omhlobo Wenene
Okay.
or Lisedi FM,
Oh, okay.
and that's how I fell in love with radio. And fortunately, there was a community radio station nearby called Takalani, and I went to go try it out. It didn't go completely well
Okay.
at first because I went there, they rejected me. They said I must submit a CV, submitted the CV. A few months later, my mom and I go there and they still haven't responded. Eventually, my mom walks in. I never get tired of telling the story. My mom walks in and she's now asking, like, because she can see that I'm being disappointed. She can see that I really want to do this thing. Every day I say, Mama, funeka singene apha, Mama, funeka siyovuka because ndiyisendile i-CV, And eventually she walks in and she asks uthi, umntanam kwenzeka ntoni, why ningathethi? Only to find that the lady that is a station manager at the station was a student, because my mom's a teacher. So was a student at Malcolm S Secondary School.
What are the chances?
And she was taught by my mom, and she didn't like my mom in high school.
Oh.
So now I was, I guess,
Heish.
getting the end of that.
That's a bit hectic.
But I guess I've always had the determination and the persistence, because I found other ways. I would walk from town to Ekasi, There's a guy by the name of Miles. He used to do the drive. Utepo Miles. He used to do the drive in at the station,
Okay.
and he would give me an opportunity for the last 20 minutes of the show to just run desk
Okay.
and mix. Not
Nice.
necessarily talk, not necessarily do much, but to shadow him. And then last 20 minutes, he gives me an opportunity to run desk, and that's how I got in. And then came in on weekends. Mangas also gave me an opportunity, and that's how I
Wow.
started this radio thing and shadowing these guys at the Takalani community radio station. Then I went to Bloom.
Were you in tertiary in Bloom?
Yes, I went to varsity in Bloom, and that's where really, for me, I would say radio really started.
Okay.
Because I went to auditions at MediaVsTalent in Bloemfontein.
Okay.
They were looking for a sports presenter. Actually, wait, let me. Yeah, yeah. When I said gear now,
Yeah.
because I remember in high school I also shadowed a lady in Bloom, Elise DFM, because my
Okay.
sisters also knew about like this love for radio.
Mm.
And then I want to give you context of that so that
Okay.
you understand how God works in such mysterious ways when something is really, your purpose.
Mm.
I shadowed that lady in high school, and I got introduced to Lucky Kasha.
Okay.
And fast forward, I get to varsity. I'm staying with my sister in my first year, and my sister's hosting a home cell
Okay.
in her apartment.
Yeah.
And by virtue of me staying with her, I was forced
To obviously be part of it.
to be part of the home cell.
Yeah.
And that's where I met KG. And KG happened to be working at Lisedi FM and was close to Shakes Kumalo. And so he knew that there were auditions at Mutewa FM. And then he told my sister, and my sister said, I must go to the auditions. And that's
Nice.
how I ended up at Mutewa FM working with Shakes Kumalo, who was hosting the breakfast show at the time.
Wow. Talk about being at the right place at the right
You
time.
know,
Yeah.
God,
Yeah, he works in that.
he
that
works
way.
in that way. And I'm a sports presenter in the morning. I go to school, varsity, just after the show to attend my classes. So I did that, and then I asked the programs manager then to shift me to doing my own sports show
Okay.
at Mutewa FM. I do my own sports show. I think in about 3 weeks I get fired. Honestly, because I didn't know what I was doing.
But you've got a background of sports. What do you mean you don't know what you were doing?
I didn't know what I was doing from a presenting perspective. And I think that's where we get it wrong. You think just because you lale bola, you think you can present the bola. Or,
Two different
you
things.
know how to play it, and maybe you know certain things about it. But presenting and being appealing to an audience are two different things,
Okay.
So I'm presenting this show, and I'm presenting it like I'm reading. I remember that the chairman of the board, or the then station manager, calls in and asks me, what am I doing, during the show. And then the following week I was fired.
Sure.
But then now Kofsi FM, which is a campus station in Bloom, at the University of the Free State, now is hosting auditions.
Okay.
So I'm walking with my friend to the library, and Kofsi FM was in the student center at the time.
Okay.
So the radio station, when you walk through the what do they call it? The student center, you could see the radio station.
Okay.
So they had a poster there of auditions.
Oh.
And they were looking for presenters. So I then do that, do the auditions, then I joined Kofsi FM.
Wait, before you carry on,
It's a long story, I know.
what have you learned? Because you got fired from the previous one. So what are you planning on doing differently at this audition? Hopefully landing it and keeping the job.
I'm not learning anything.
Oh.
I'm just I just want to do this thing.
Yeah.
I'm not learning anything from the rejection.
Okay.
I'm just like, I'm rejected here. I still
go
want to
somewhere
do this radio thing. I'm going to do it somewhere else. In fact, it makes more sense for me to do it on campus because I'm a student here. So it's going to make it easier for me to do the shows because the student center is right here. And I think at that point, God was really just saying, yo, bro, like, this is the journey that I want you to take, and this is where your journey is taking you. I mean, for me to get fired, and then there's an opportunity at the campus station. It's just saying that, hey man, I know you want to do this thing, so here's another opportunity for you to explore this talent, to explore this gift that I've given to you.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I wasn't learning anything. Maybe I was learning something about myself, that I'm persistent, and I want to do this thing. And if you chase after your dreams and you're consistent after your dream, then eventually it will happen, you know. And I did that. Did a sports show at YFM.
Okay.
On a Monday, then they moved me from the sports show. I think clearly I wasn't meant to be a sports presenter. I wonder, because
keep moving you around.
Yes. So I then do a midnight show.
Okay.
Monday to Thursday at YFM. Then I move from midnight. I do lunch, 12 to 3, and I do breakfast, weekend breakfast, and then I do lunch, and then I move from lunch. Then I do 6 to 7.
Okay.
And as I was about to do the breakfast show on YFM, then YFM calls me up.
Oh.
Yeah.
So which time slot is the most important one in radio?
Every time slot is important.
But which one do you think, like, they've got the most listeners? So is it like the breakfast show or the drive show?
From what we know, those two shows are supposed to have like the biggest numbers.
Okay.
Because people are up and
on the move.
In the morning, they're in the move. Afternoon drive, they're driving back from work on their way home. But things have changed over the years.
Okay.
Excuse me. More and more people are working from home. More and more people are working longer hours. So they drive is not necessarily now 3 to 6. It's now 5 to 9 or 5 to 8. And the reason why I say this is because I experienced that when I was at YFM and I was doing the 7 to 10 show, where I realized the big numbers that I had on the show, and mostly from the working class. You could hear that le voice note isuka kumntu driver, you know.
Yeah.
This message, you can tell it's relatable, or it comes from someone who relates to a working, individual.
Yeah.
So that's why I say that in terms of numbers, yes, those shows are the ones that have the most numbers. But in terms of the important slot, each and every slot is important, because there's always someone listening. Whether we one, whether by 2, whether by million, there's always someone listening, and you respect the slots just like any other slot.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So then YFM calls you?
Yeah. YFM calls me. That is in 2013. Yes, that's 2013. YFM calls me up. They say, pull up. We liked what we hear on the demo. Come through to Johannesburg, and I start on Playground. Playground is a training slot that YFM has between 3 and 6 a.m. What it was between 3 and 6 a.m. at the time. I don't know now. And I mean, that time it was myself, Ayanda MVP, Extreme, Lusky, Yvette Floss. We were all in that training slot, fighting for a show, and I started there, then moved to Thursdays 10 to midnight, where now Season Scoop, who are hosting the Full Clip at the time, had left YFM. And then I did that show, but not the Full Clip, like a normal radio show.
Okay.
And that's how, things started for me. Did the turn up weekends, 12 to 3 a.m. Then from there, I went to 6 to 9, Saturday and Sunday. Then I went to 6 to 10, Friday and Saturday. Then from there, I went to 9 to 12 on the A-list. Then from the A-list, I did Unlocked, 7 to 10 p.m.
Oh, nice.
So that's my 11 years at Y.
Wow. So, I mean, most radio stations are known for shuffling their presenters annually.
Yeah.
How did you stay afloat? I mean, considering your first radio gig lasted 2 weeks at most, how did you stay afloat for 11 years?
Grace.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
I cannot take that away. But I've always been someone who wants to improve, constantly improve and be better than what I was. And before my opportunity, I look at those that have opportunities and I see how I can be like them or be better than them. So I sit back and I watch. And I just always work on my craft, you know, always work on improving the craft. And that's something that Tumelo Diao, who's the programs manager, who's responsible for taking me from Kofsi FM to YFM, the conversation that him and I had, he said to me, Mvana, you'll get everything. You're at YFM. I mean, it's the biggest youth station in the country. You'll get everything. You'll be popular. You'll get the girls. You know, you'll go to the gigs. You know, you'll get the attention. It's there, but never forget to respect the craft. You know, and I've always been about that, respecting the craft. I even still do links in the car.
Yeah.
You know, I'll hear a song and I do my links.
Nice.
Just to always reinvent myself and how do I bring in personality? Because I think the most important thing now, considering that there's such platforms as podcasts, there's your TikToks, there's social media. Why are you listening to me? You are coming to me for personality.
Yeah. That is so true.
No one can ever replicate.
So many mediums now. People they're spoiled for choice.
Exactly. So people go to Mandy because of your personality.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And how you present. Nobody can replicate how you do it.
True.
There's so many other platforms that are there, but like I want to hear Mandy and I like the way Mandy does it.
Yeah.
So understanding that we're not just doing radio. You're bringing in personality.
Yeah.
And it's very important because people are attracted to your personality, not anyone else's.
That is very true.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. The content that you guys do on radio, do you guys freestyle it or do you have to plan it in advance? Does someone approve it? How do you guys come up with content for that 3-hour slot that you have?
Freestyle, Mandy.
I mean,
Yo.
I know you guys are regulated, so there's a lot that you can't do. But I'm just wondering, like, because sometimes it sounds so effortless. It's just flowing. It's like, it sounds like music in your ears. And you're like, did this person sit down and write each thing? Or, like, how do they go about it?
Yo. That you'd be speaking a whole lot of fluff if you didn't prep. A whole lot of nothing.
Ne?
You know, that's the most important thing, I think, on radio. In fact, not I think, I know. And even legends like Botuso Mutaung, Tate Tuso Mutaung, King David Shabalala, you know, Mashabela, sorry. People that I truly respect on the radio will tell you that content is king.
Okay.
You know, you prep.
Yeah.
Even if it's just writing Mandy's diaries, 11:30, King's Graal.
Yeah.
You know, like in bullet point.
Yeah.
But how I say it is radio. That's where the gift is.
Okay.
So Mandy's I'm out at Mandy's diaries on this day and I have this interview at 11:30 at a beautiful place called King's Kraal. Whilst the entire crew is watching me, laughing here and there in the background.
Yeah.
But hey, it is what it is. You are listening to Metro FM. It's where you want to be. I did bullet points, but the way I said it and I presented it is conversational to you.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
But if I don't know and I didn't prep and I don't have the content, it's what sang and done.
That makes sense.
And
so you have freedom to talk about whatever.
Not necessarily. When it comes to that, obviously there are things that you cannot speak about on radio that are regulated by the BCCSA.
Okay.
But in terms of expression, you are more than welcome to express yourself in whatever way, even with content.
Okay.
There's not much regulation, with regards to that. But now you know that you have a responsibility to speak about things that are not violating to other people, but you speak about things that I guess make sense to you, that are relatable to you and to the audience. When I did Unlocked on YFM, I mean, we did some content that was so out of the box, and what we realized is that these are some of the things that people want to speak about. These are some of the things that people go through. But people are not listening to radio because they're not getting this type of content. They want to hear this type of content. And that's why that show was such a big show, on Y. And now, even at Metro FM, there's no regulation. But like I said, you have to have a responsibility of understanding and knowing that there are certain things you cannot say and that you can say.
Yeah. Now you've moved to Metro FM. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
How did that come about?
God. That's how it came about.
Eh?
I think. How did it come about? It comes from many years of doing radio, many years of working and improving the craft and respecting the craft. It comes from many years of working on the brand, the music, just it's many things. It's many things that I've consciously and intentionally have been working on for many years. And look, it's 2025. Talent alone is not enough. So there's many things that you need to work on. You can be talented, but let's be honest, social media is important.
Sure.
I mean, I heard the other day, there's a lady who went on a radio station was saying it's crazy that with auditions, you need to check your followers as well. That they also look at your followers. How many followers do you have?
Is that on your own personal platform?
Personal platform, yes.
Okay.
It's sad, but at the same time, it's the reality that we're in. It's the reality that we're in, because social media is another leg of reach for any platform that hires you.
That makes sense, though.
So I think we need to understand that these things coexist. How do they coexist? How do you get them to coexist? Social media is important. Talent is important.
Yeah.
PR is important. Getting yourself out there is important. Diversifying is important. You can't just be a radio jock. You can't just be a podcaster.
Yeah.
What else are you doing?
Yeah.
Explore other gifts, explore other talents. Invest in social media. And when I say invest, I'm not talking about money. I'm just saying invest time.
Yeah.
Go live on social media. Let the people who follow you get to know you more than what they see on TV, what they hear on the radio, So the reality is these things must coexist. And that's where the world is going.
Yeah.
How many brands do we know from just the shelf on Pick and Pay, but are now so visible on the socials because they understand the impact and the importance of social media.
True.
So now, as a brand, as a product, you need to be visible on social media and understand that sometimes social media will get you into spaces that your radio frequency won't necessarily get you, your TV won't necessarily get you. And that's where we are.
Yeah.
It's sad, but it's the reality.
It makes sense because it all works. It all ties in together ultimately because it's getting the message through to the listener or the viewer in multiple ways.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know how many times And I started going live on TikTok
Okay.
during my radio show last year, and some people didn't understand it; they didn't get it. But I knew that I needed to connect to the audience in a different way. I don't know how many times I've gotten messages on the live from people who say, Supta, we know the voice, but we don't know the face. You know, I listen to your show every day. I love your show. I love you, but
I don't know you.
I don't
know
know
what you look
you.
like. I could walk past you
I could walk
at a
past
mall
you.
and I wouldn't know it's you.
You get what I mean? And that has helped me a lot. It has helped me quite a lot where people have been able to connect with me even from a visual perspective. And now when you think about it, you are bringing radio and podcasting together using a platform like a TikTok, you know?
Yeah.
Because that's what podcasting is. It's people who hear the voice and see you.
True.
You know, it's the visual aspect of radio. So I won't necessarily have a podcast yet, or I don't have a podcast, but how do I optimize and maximize with what I have so that the people who are listening to you and the frequency are able to connect with you? And it has helped me a lot.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've always wondered, like, what are people, like radio presenters, wearing? Are they in like pajamas? Because no one knows, no one sees you. So are you there in your pajamas, flip flops?
Yeah.
But you seem like you dress up all the time.
No, not all the time. No,
Okay.
no. I like wearing my sweatpants
Okay.
and a t-shirt.
Okay.
Sneakers nyana, go to the show.
Yeah.
Hey, but Metro FM melugqoka. Hey.
Really bad.
Bayafota lapha. Yo.
Oh, they do take a lot of pictures.
Uyawuthufika nje kuthiwe hey Supta. Khwatla. So mele umeke sure ukuthi une brush emodweni. Mele ube clean.
That's exciting though.
No.
It is.
No, you don't look forward to taking pictures all day, every day, but it is what it is. Like I say to you, it's also understanding the importance of these platforms coexisting. You know, now it's no longer like before where I would just walk into a radio show wearing shorts
and just do your thing,
and shy vest and I'm doing a radio show.
Yeah.
But now, because I understand that the platforms have evolved and I need to evolve and I need to adapt to the changes, then it means that I need to know that I prepare for radio just like I would prepare for
a TV show.
Not necessarily a TV show, but like maybe like look good.
Okay.
Good for social media. You know, you look good for Instagram. Yeah, so you have to look good for...
I only do it for the podcast. That's it.
You know, you look good for Instagram and then those platforms. So it does come as a surprise, but it's a good surprise because it's where you grow. It's now outside of my comfort zone because there's no growth in comfort.
True.
You have to be uncomfortable, and I was uncomfortable at first, but now I'm like, this is where it's at. Now so many people and the Metro FM audience that's on social media gets to see who Supta is. You know, now they're putting the face to the voice. So it is what it is. Siyanxiba sinuka kamnandi. Nango 12 ekuseni.
Because you don't know when you'll get photographed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I like it.
And how's it been being at YFM? At Metro FM so far? Like, are you enjoying it? Is the audience different?
Yes, I'm enjoying it. It's where it's at, man. It's where you want to be. It's the audience has accepted me with such warmth, and I was panicking quite a lot about that. You can feel, you can just, there's an energy that says big league, you know, on Metro FM. It just says EPL, it just says UEFA, you know. So it's just been amazing, man. And I've only been there for 15 days, I think. Let me check now. No. 14 days.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
About 14 days.
Okay.
But already,
spanking you.
yeah, it's also just like the elite of radio, you know. And I'm there, I'm blessed to be there, and it's such a privilege, and I'm taking it with both hands and running with it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you've got so many other talents. You also a DJ. You're a producer. What inspired you to branch off into music?
It literally comes from home.
Okay.
Home was big on music. My mom was a choir master. I won at the same school that I used to pick her up from.
Okay. Yeah.
She used to as an extramural. She used to look after the choir.
Oh, okay.
So I'm young. My dad passed away 2005. I stay with my mom, and my mom is doing this thing. I'm there with my mom, for hours, and seeing how she just coordinates isoprano, i-alto,
So mama kubukila baba.
i-baritone. Yes. Umama behlala phansi ekhoneni, uhlala lapha ekhoneni.
She wasn't as dramatic.
Yeah, kanti bathi hayi, baritone, i-bass ayivakali. Yabona? Alto. She used to, so by virtue of that, I was then exposed to that. And you see, here's the thing, you don't realize what you're exposing your children to at a very young age. When you are busy doing these, when I would mtana just playing, but like you're exposing them to things. So I grew up in that environment where my mom was a choir master. My dad, before he passed on, he loved music, and I don't know if you've heard of Gentle Breeze. He used to listen to that kind of music.
Oh.
What good is a song if you're not inspired? Ooh, 'cause it got good enough to sing.
I don't know. I'm sure you LP, right?
But like, I have a memory, a childhood memory of me driving with my dad, and I'm standing in the passenger seat, not even sitting. I was very young at the time. I think I was about 4 or 5 years old, and he was playing that song from A Gentle Breeze. What good is a song if it can't inspire? And then it's not good enough to sing. And if you listen to my music, it's inspirational, it's motivational, it builds you. Kuzolunga, umoya. You listen to Tumamina, Iklesha. The list is endless. Mpumelelo, Ntingantaka. It speaks to that. But I was exposed to that when I was younger, and he could play the piano really, really well.
Wow.
He even had a piano at home.
Wow, was it a grand piano?
No, not grand.
Oh, well,
just
close enough.
just those basic ones.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, it's still there. Kusafuneka ndiyoyilanda back home.
Refurbish it.
Yeah.
That'll be so dope.
But indlu yami incinci kwangoku, so I'm waiting for i-mansion, yabona.
It's on its way.
Ndifuna uyibeka phaa ekhoneni, uthi xa ungena. Nawe man, uthi xa ungena uthi trufu uyayibamba ndokunqanda ndithi no. Ayibanjwa le.
No, le
You
ayibanjwa.
know, because
Dlala ndim.
not even, I don't even want to play it because
Really?
it holds such
sentiment.
sentimental value, and my sisters could play the flute. My other eldest sister, uyakwazi udlala ipiano.
That's incredible.
So
What
that's how
instruments do you play?
I'm able to play the piano, but I'm not the best at it.
Okay.
I had a stint at playing guitar when I was in primary school, and then I stopped because I was more into soccer than I was into music
at the time.
at the time. And then fast forward a few years later, I'm into music than I am into soccer, But I come from a family that loves music. I was exposed to gospel music because of my mom. I was exposed to choral music because of my mom. I'm exposed to jazz
Because of your dad.
because of my dad. And then I'm exposed to R&B because of my sisters.
Okay. Yeah, they're at that age really where they listen to R&B.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're in high school. I'm in primary school. I'm young. and they are listening to your Whitney Houstons, they are listening to your Brandies, you know, they are
All the
listening to
heartbreak music.
all the heartbreak music. My sister's cleaning there in the lounge and she's listening to this music. So I'm exposed to that kind of music. And how I get exposed to house music now is the interesting part, because I get exposed to house music in 2005, 2006. From primary school, I changed school transport because now this is a high school and it's a primary school. So a primary school and a high school is not in the same building. I know other schools are like that, where primary is probably on the other side, and a high school year two is more up the road on your way to Jamestown, East London. So I had to change school transport. I changed school transport, and now I'm in a Siaya. Yazi ukuthi the cool kids bebeqabela isiyaya xa beye esikolweni and a sound.
The best.
You know, and uButhehla used to be our driver at the time. And he also would drive and come to Johannesburg with abo mama abashaya business, abathengisayo, come buy things and sell them that side. So he would then find this house music, the cassettes, the CDs here in Johannesburg, and then would play them in Alwell North. And he was so cool because he probably
played music that no one knows.
That no one knows, you know?
Yeah.
Abo DJ Fresh, abo Glenn Lewis, abo Fistas Mixwell, Kanyani, you know, he used to come with that music. And that's how I exposed, because every time he drives us to school, he rocks this music. And then I had yo, Puchu Muchu, yo, Mojava, you know. That's
so
how
dope.
I got exposed to house music. And then fast forward, here I am making not the same house music, but
making house music.
Making house music.
Afro
house, Afro tech, yes.
feel to it.
Absolutely, I've fallen in love with that sound.
How did you develop your unique sound? Because your sound is very different. Like you said, you like to obviously make music that is inspirational, you know, that someone can draw strength from. But how did you develop that sound?
I don't think I was intentional about it.
Okay.
Music is an energy. And I remember I watched a podcast, actually, Kamsaki, where she says she understands that she's just a vessel. The music just comes, you know?
And she just needs to pass it on.
Yeah, and you don't see it. You realize it at the time. It's sometimes when people make you realize that actually you've got such a unique sound. You know, you are bringing these elements together, and what the vocalist sings, if it gives you goosebumps or it gives me goosebumps, then clearly that's what the message that God wants me to share with people.
Yeah.
And I allow it and I embrace it. So I think over the years, as you make the music, you then evolve, and you get to a point where you are so fully expressive of self.
Yeah.
And I think I'm, to a certain extent, I'm there. I wasn't intentional about this is yabona le sound le ndifuna ukwenza so, because also if you don't want your sound to sound like someone else, then you can't be listening to someone else, you know, because you will then replicate.
True.
You know, I draw inspiration from other people.
Yeah.
And over the years I've drawn inspiration from your Black Coffees, from your Prince KBs, Heavy K's, Glenn Lewis, DJ Fresh, you know, DJ Kent. I've drawn inspiration from those people, but I've had to also be true to self, just like I'm true to self to radio, because even in radio, in the years I've been able to find my own identity. Like when you hear me on radio, uzothi ngusapta lo.
Yes.
Awuzoti, who's this trying to be like? You know, you're not gonna say, who's this trying to, you know, you'll be like, this is
Supta.
this guy,
Yeah.
and I like this guy.
Yeah.
You know, and you go to DJ Spoo, and this is DJ Spoo, this is touch, you know. And I think with music, that's the approach, that you come to the music and it's unique to me. I wasn't intentional, honestly.
So it just
Just
came
an
out.
energy. It's
That's
just an energy.
amazing.
And that's why maybe, in fact, not maybe, that's why I haven't then migrated to piano.
Okay.
You know, piano is a beautiful genre, and I say this all the time, and I love it. However, it's not the energy that I'd like to share. Um, yeah, I have a relationship with Afro House, and from that relationship, there's an energy shared, transferred. You know, when I play, when I make the music, when I release the music, when the music is out there, I want you to feel what I feel. You know, like connect to what I'm connecting to. Kuzolunga, I did that song in 2022. In fact, no, I did the production in 2022.
Really?
Yeah. And then we recorded the vocals in 2023.
Oh.
I've had that song for some time.
Wow.
I was signed to a label.
That's my next question.
Yeah, I was signed to a label, Warner. And I remember...
Warner Brothers?
No. Warner Music.
Okay.
And I remember I would always present that song to them, and they were just like, nah, you know? And then fast forward, I'm in a meeting with them early 2024, and I present to them new music that I want to drop for the year. Kuzolunga was there, Phakamisa was there. Which other song was there? I don't remember, but I remember Kuzolunga was there and Phakamisa was there. And I'll never forget this. And this is a story that I'll always share. Is after that meeting, they were like, no, you know, we want music that when I'm about to leave the club and the DJ plays the song, you know, then I'll want to turn back and then, you know.
And you're like, what kind of music is that?
Yeah, no, maybe. And remember, Iplan was a big song at the time.
Yes.
So they kept on making reference to Iplan.
Oh.
Yeah, you see, like Iplan. I'm like, so you want me to change
your sound,
my sound, because you know Iplan to be a hit, and you want my sound to be similar or have elements that are like Iplan. Iplan is unique to Iplan, and chances are, I don't know this, Udlala Takzin, he played Iplan for someone, and they also rejected Iplan, and Iplan became a big song.
True.
You know? And I remember coming out of that meeting feeling so disappointed. And so upset because
they want you to be somebody else.
They wanted me. I felt like I doubted my creativity. You know, I doubted my sound. And I remember I spoke to my wife when I got home, and I said to her, I don't like how that made me feel, and I don't ever want to feel like this about my craft. You know. And then the following day, I sent them a letter and I said, I wanna, can they please terminate the contract?
Wow.
And they terminated the contract.
Because you guys weren't seeing eye to eye.
Yeah. And it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it. A month later, I bump into to Hlompo. He's at Virgin Music Africa.
Okay.
And then he says, yo, bro, I've been paying attention to your music for so many years. You remember we bumped into each other at Cotton Fest a few years ago, and I want to sign you. And there it is. Kuzolunga became one of the biggest songs in 2025. So in 2024, yes, you could not play an Afro set without playing Kuzolunga.
Yeah.
You know, a 3-step set without playing Kuzolunga. And had I listened to those people who call themselves A&R at that label, that song wouldn't have come out.
True.
And now that song is double platinum.
Wow. Congratulations. That's incredible.
It's double platinum.
That's amazing. I'm glad that you went with your gut feeling. Because I think in the industry sometimes you need to have a backbone and really believe in yourself. Because if you don't, you're going to go wherever the wind blows. If they say, nah, that doesn't look good on you. Now you're changing your look. Now you're doing this.
Exactly.
So how important is it to affirm yourself in what you believe?
It's very important. But I also understand with people that don't understand themselves when they are new in the industry. It takes time. It does take time. I had to stick to my guns, even when piano was taking over and everyone was migrating to piano, I stuck it through with Afro house. And it wasn't the popular genre then.
At all.
We're
It's
not.
like they forgot.
Oh, it's like they forgot. We're not getting bookings. Promoters were booking piano artists like
Only.
for 12 hours. Uku event to mamele ilok drum for 12 hours. Dude, it sounds like the same song.
Yeah.
Because eventually it does sound like
does.
the same song, And I stuck it through because, like I said, it's an energy, and you don't want to be standing behind the decks, udlala into that you are not feeling. So it's very important that you find yourself, understand yourself, and stick to yourself. Even when people will say, no, go this way, go that way. But it goes back to really just knowing what you are in the industry. When you're not trying to be like someone else, when you're not trying to sound like someone else, and understanding that yonke into inexesha and eventually things will work out for you too, because you are putting in the work and respecting the people that actually consume the music. Labels don't consume the music. Other celebrities do not necessarily consume the music, and even if they do, they won't tell you.
No. It's a pride thing.
Uyamsupporta but akafuna ukujumpisela ngeke akuposte because expose wena to abanye abantu, like
they should be marketing themselves, not you.
And that time lo muntu uvuka ekuseni umamela ingoma yakho, uyalala umamela ingoma yakho, uyatya umamela ingoma yakho, but because
emotionally listening to your song to uplift them,
bamlahlile umamela ingoma yakho, but they're not going to do it. Respect aba that take the time to search for you, that take the time to Shazam your music when they hear it on radio and they listen to more of your music and start following you on social media platforms and start connecting with you and post you every single day. Those are my people. Those are the people that I pay attention to. Those are the people that I show love to. And thank you to those celebrities that tag me when they play my music. But I know, like, in most...
They won't do it.
They won't.
So that song, Kuzolunga, actually won an award at the EVMA.
Oh, yes.
That is incredible.
Oh, damn, I even forgot about that.
Because you got so many awards lately. 2024 is a great year for you, hey?
It was an amazing year. I think it's not even that. I just think I and this is a conversation that I have with my wife and family and my friends, that I'm such a... What's the word? I achieve and move.
Okay.
I don't
You don't
dwell.
hold on. Okay. Yeah.
And that's the award. Yeah. Ungakulinge,
Don't try me.
Nah. You'll never achieve more if you dwell on the past. You will never see the need to improve if you're constantly dwelling on the past. You will never listen to other people who positively or constructively criticize you because you think you are I can say shit here,
Yeah.
You are the shit. You are the be all and the end all,
Yeah.
Because you are dwelling on achievements, And yes, I might be an award-winning TV presenter, award-winning artist, but andinofika kuwe when you are saying, hey, Supta, you know what? I think maybe just do that. Maybe just I'll listen to you and see if it will work. But I will not shut it out because the Winnie Award and that makes me superior than you. It doesn't. And the moment you sit on a pedestal, your superiority is the moment you are not going to achieve more because you are now not listening. It's not getting to your ego, arrogant. You think what you are doing is the be all and end all. And to a certain extent, it might be for a few years, but you don't grow if you don't learn. You don't.
And everything has its season. So
Absolutely.
Eventually it'll blow over. People will forget and move on.
It's in my bios where I remember, oh yes, I won the DSTV Song of the Year with Kukuletu. Oh yes, I won Best Collaboration with Sound What in Nigeria, Lagos. Oh yes, I won You know,
Yeah.
I want the.
Because you have to write the bio. It's important
You
in
have
that
to write
in that
the bio.
moment. Yes.
Exactly. But I will not come to you and say, "Hey, Mandy, I'm
Do you know?
Supta. You know, I'm an award-winning. You know,
You're sitting with an award winner, multi-talented.
ungakulinge Mandy, undivelele nge-angle. I'm an award-winning." Immediately when I come with that energy, you close off.
True.
Then you treat me as an award winner.
Yeah.
So we are treated carefully. Then we lose the human aspect. We lose the personal connection.
Yeah.
And I don't like also getting into spaces and I want people to know that, oh, I work at Metro FM or I'm this person. In most cases, when I get into personal spaces with friends and family, ndingusiyabulela. Angeke ndibe nguSupta.
Yeah.
And I don't introduce, "Hi Mandy, I'm Supta." No, because you must be able to differentiate. Ngoku ndikwi-braai ndizibiza uSupta. And uMandy uyandazi and they listen to me on Metro FM and they listen to my music, then the fan in you kicks in.
Yeah.
And uyasilibala ukuthi sisebrayini sisonke masichile ngoku sewunijongile ukuthi uSupta uyutya njani utya engavalanga umlomo. You know, all of those small things. Why Supta is so loud? Oh my gosh. I didn't think he's like this. I loved him so much on the radio. I loved him on TV. I loved him on this. But like, and I'm in my comfort zone.
True.
But because of those achievements and what you know about me, so and I think that's just how I am. I don't dwell on achievements because I believe there's always opportunity for growth, and sometimes you can get the best wisdom from someone you don't expect.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Why do you think it was important for you to add the visuals to Guzolunga? Were the visuals supposed to be the way that they were? Because the song and the visuals they marry each other very well. Was that intentional?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
It's a beautiful video, by the way.
Thank you.
And Bongani Sexes, on that.
No, Bongani.
I can't get over that song.
Yeah.
I actually listened to that song while I was in the maternity ward about to give birth. I was like, I'm going to make it to the other side.
Yes.
Yeah.
And look at
that
you.
Was my, that song made me strong.
No. Look at you. You know, kulungile.
Yeah.
Kulungile. Of course, it must. Because when you listen to the music, you have your own story. And now when you watch the visuals, you also want to see a story of hope.
Yes.
A story of I can do it. Whether it's similar to yours in maternity or it's that young man busy moto yedrata. Trying to put it together and hoping that one day they will make it.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
True.
It's just different stories. So it was very important that those two marry each other. And that's like the intention with my music videos. For me, it must make sense to the music. And I learned that from Prince KB.
Okay.
Because I remember when Kukuletu was such a big song. We shot the video in Kukuletu.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense.
Right?
I mean, you wouldn't go to Kylie and shoot Kukuletu. They wouldn't let you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even though it made reference to Amakasi, but it just had to have that sentimental connection to that hood. And I learned that from him. Fetch your life, So we'd have these kind of conversations where he's really like, he shares wisdom with me. And people must understand that Prince KB will always be part of my story.
Yeah.
Because he's one of the very few people who gave me an opportunity. Like
when no one else would, ne?
Yeah. Yeah. He'll always be part of my story. Whether Silwilo, Raslwanga, or Ndoni, it doesn't matter. He'll always be because he is part of the story. Outside of just Kukuletu, he would go to gigs with me. And we would play back to back. He would give me the same last 20 minutes that Miles gave me back in Takalani, at Takalani radio station.
Yeah.
KB would give. So that's why Miles is always part of the story. That's why Prince KB will always be part of the story.
I love
because
that.
those people, when no one knew me and everyone knew them, they took a risk and said, "Zwakala mfana, izoma yiqangwam, let's play. Zwakala mfana, let's go here."
And we don't have enough people like that, eh? We really don't.
No. And he asked for nothing.
Sure.
Nothing. Zero.
Wow.
Zero.
That's a blessing in itself.
And
eh?
in fact, knowing him, if it was for him, ebengazofuna noba ndizithethe izinto ezi.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to mention someone who has become such a blessing, in my life. And now I'm able to stand alone, as an artist, as a DJ, as a radio presenter, TV presenter, because of those small opportunities.
Yeah.
It takes a lot for someone who is as popular as him to say to people who respect him that, hey, I know you respect me, but how about you look at this boy and respect him as well because he's that good.
Yeah.
Takes a lot.
Yeah.
Not many people are doing that now.
And I'm sure that built your confidence as well.
Of course.
You were like, I'm standing with Prince KB. Guys, how?
He took me all the way to the UK.
Wow.
He was on a UK tour, and then he took me along to the UK tour with the late Afro brothers, DJ Click and Mohammed, who were also on Kukuletu. So we all went to London, Birmingham, Manchester, Glasgow.
Yeah.
Because of KB.
Wow, that's incredible. Shout out to KB for that. We need more people like that in the
industry. Crazy. We need more people like that. He was touring and he brought me and the boys to paid for accommodation, took care of us, and even at the gigs we opened for him.
Wow.
Before he started playing. That's like
once in a lifetime
2019.
That's
incredible. Not many people can do that.
No.
Currently.
Like make you stand before them. Take the spotlight. I don't think so.
Pay for your accommodation. Go with you that side.
In pounds.
And risk their brand to grow your brand. Take care of you in the UK.
Sure.
We were there for 2 weeks.
That is expensive, hey?
We were there for 2 weeks.
Wow. And I mean, 2019, even though the pound now is at 25 rand, it was probably not too far away. Yeah, it was probably 23, somewhere there. Breakfast, lunch, and snack in between.
And I've been cash, to be honest.
Yeah.
Not saying that in Popile.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But we are better off than we were.
Yeah.
And God has been good. But yeah, who does that?
No one.
He did it.
Sure.
For the Afro brothers and myself.
That's incredible.
So yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Shout out to him for that. Please groom other people to become like that.
Yeah.
We need more people like that in the industry. Like we need to really help each other to get somewhere.
Yeah.
We can't keep clapping hands for one person.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's got a lot of greed. It's not cute.
It does, but you need to understand that the industry is about turns. It's crazy. It's like, if I've got the biggest song in the country right now and I'm being booked left, right, and center, are you saying I must say no to those bookings I can open them to you? You get what I mean?
Yeah.
And then 2 years later, I'm not the biggest thing. You are the biggest thing. La mali bendisithi shapu kuyo. Now
you need it, true.
You know, so it's very debatable that is it greed or is it maximizing on your current opportunity?
What would you do then to create longevity where we all eat? Because the pie is big enough.
The pie is big enough, but it's not my responsibility to make sure that you eat.
True.
You know,
True.
It's your responsibility to work on yourself so that you also get a piece of the pie. And what KB did for me doesn't necessarily mean that someone else owes you that.
True.
You know, nobody owes you anything. It was from the goodness of his heart that he did that. And some people will want to do it, some people won't want to do it. And that's fine.
True.
You know, that's why I constantly talk about the amazing work that he did for me.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm not saying that everybody must do that.
Yeah.
And to also the young people that are listening, excuse me, they mustn't expect that.
Yeah.
You know,
You
that
must
was my
still work
journey. That was
hard.
Afro Brothers' journey. Maybe it's not necessarily your journey, but you'll also get there.
True.
It's very debatable
Conversation,
that
eh?
conversation, because if I'm a Scotsman Puma, for example, and I'm the hottest thing right now, must I say to a promoter that wants to book me, no, book Supta, because I don't want to seem greedy.
No.
You get what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
It's very debatable.
Yeah.
Can he pull someone as he's gigging? If he wants to, yes, why not?
Yeah.
But he doesn't have to.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to.
That's very true.
Yeah.
You wear different hats because you're also a TV presenter.
Yes.
For Soweto TV.
Yes.
Lifestyle 011.
Yes.
You guys won an award there as well.
Yeah. Hey, needs into Indians, goodness. But hey, before go to greedy. Hey, when a TV.
You've put in the work. Let's be honest. You've put in the work. It wasn't always like this, you know?
No,
you started somewhere.
Of course. I mean, I've always wanted to do TV. And I got the opportunity to do TV at Soweto TV. Amazing show called Lifestyle 011 about lifestyle, culture, you know, the entertainment space and the culture, you know. And I got that opportunity. And I've always believed that radio and TV are not far off. Well, radio to TV, not necessarily TV
Vice
to
versa.
radio. It's a little bit tricky. And I've tried it, and we've done really well. We're on 4 seasons now. And season 2 and 3, we won 2 awards at the EMVAs.
Yeah.
And at the Content Creative Awards.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, it's what I spoke about earlier about diversifying, you know, exploring your talents and being self-aware. What are you good at? What can you do? What you can't do? I know for a fact I'm going to go on TikTok and dance.
Yes.
Even though people have a career in dancing.
Dancing, true.
You know, people are making money through dancing.
Yes.
I know for a fact that I cannot sing. There are people who are making money and have careers in singing. But I've diversified in an opportunity that I think I can explore, which is TV. And it's been going so well.
Okay.
And I still want to obviously do more and grow. I'm looking forward to the next chapter. But I took it as, here's a platform that's ready to give me an opportunity. Let me find my TV voice, my TV identity. Let me learn.
Yeah.
Let me grow, so that when a bigger opportunity comes, for maybe a bigger, channel.
Yeah.
I'm ready. You know, if it's not there, I'll continue to do my best where I am.
I don't know, Uti, I was good, but you go, hi, Supta, hi.
That was a chance. that was a chance. That song was an experiment, to be honest. I wasn't gonna release it.
Okay.
So I'm working. It was earlier on this year, working on production, and the chant just it comes to mind. Hi, Supta, Supta, hi, Supta. You know. And I just pulled the mic, and I'm like, "Hey, Zorala, is this a mic? Let me just try this thing."
Yeah.
You know, because I'd like to think I've got a nice radio voice. So I wanted to use that and see if I can put it on a song. And I layered it. Hi, Supta, Supta, hi. Hi, Supta, Supta, hi. Hi, Supta.
You learned that from your mom. You remembered, Musgut.
Yeah.
My mom used to do this with the choir.
Exactly. So I layered it, literally.
Yeah.
And at a reverb up or at a delay, you know. And it came out. I posted it on TikTok.
People loved it.
People went crazy.
Sure.
Then I dropped it now on my new EP, Makwande.
Nice. That's amazing. Lastly, because there's so much we can chat about.
Of course.
You've got an annual event, homecoming event in Arrow North.
My baby.
Yes.
I do that event with a very good friend of mine, Umthandazo Piva.
Okay.
And Umadiba, Usimpiwe. I started doing Supta's homecoming. It's been about 6 years now. Oh. And for me, it was when I wanted to do that. My dad's gravesite is in Elwell North.
Okay.
And my dad has never heard me play. Because when I started learning how to play, he had already passed. Because I started playing when I was in varsity 2010.
Okay.
Playing DJing. And I was like, I want to play in a space where my dad is resting. And that's how I started with the Supta's homecoming.
Love that.
And second to that, it was having a platform that's going to make me accessible to the young boy and the young girl from my hood to realize that it's possible. Your dreams are valid, you know? And even when you are living in your dream, you must never forget where you come from. And you connect with the people that you come from.
Yeah,
you
the
know?
local community, yeah.
The community. And it has grew in leaps and bounds. The people of Alwal North, the people of the Joe Gabi district, the people of the Eastern Cape have really supported Supta's homecoming. We started with 500 people to close to 4,000 people. We moved from a small space behind a club, a tavern, to a street bash, from a street bash to a stadium. Yeah. And we've done all of this without sponsors, by the way.
That's incredible.
So it really has been just the people of the Eastern Cape, the people of Alwal North, the people of Joe Gabi, who have shown me love in my career, who have shown love to the event. And it's now a platform and an event and a space where they come together and dress up, you know, listen to good music, look good, take pictures, you know, be part of the lifestyle that is out there. And it's now happening literally at their doorstep, you know, because most of these events, if you come from Alwal, it's a small town, you only see them on social media.
True.
You know, there's nothing literally in your backyard that's happening that says, get the hair ready, get the nails ready, get the makeup ready, get the outfit ready, and get those tickets.
Yeah.
You know? And Supta's homecoming is exactly that for my people, Alwal North.
That's incredible. I love it.
Beautiful
the meaning
event.
Behind it is incredible. Do you have stalls there where people who've got like local businesses can come sell stuff there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Dope.
And I think over the years, that's one of the things that we have noticed, right? That we have created a platform that has opportunities for local vendors, that has opportunities for employment. They are, I don't even know how many people we employ since the event has grown.
Sure.
You know, that go back home with something.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that are pushing their businesses. You know, food stalls, and this year we want to grow even more, because in the past years there's been some red tape.
Okay.
With regards to people coming in and selling food, etc., because food is also very sensitive. Yeah. So we are also regulated and restricted. But hopefully this year there'll be more and more people who'll be able to sell at the homecoming. But those that have the necessary documents are able to come in and sell and really have a platform to grow their businesses. And that's something that my team and I will forever, you know, hold close to our hearts. That it's not just about Jaivo. It's about creating employment, creating opportunities, bringing this lifestyle to Alwal North because they also deserve it. Eastern Cape deserves it. Jokabi deserves it, and not being shy about it, you know, and tourism, you know, it's such a ripple effect that people are coming in from different towns, different cities to come to Supta's homecoming, and they book accommodation, they buy drinks, they
boost just the entire environment,
just the entire economy in the area. You know, businesses are making more money than they usually make. You know, so it's really something that I'm sure my friend Biva and Matiba will look back and say we've done something. You know, something impactful. For where we come from, and not forgetting where you come from. I'm always just embarrassed by people who are in Joburg. Kumbuza ukuthi aso wena ngowaphi? Athi ndingwase Free State. Where in the Free State? Akafuni utsho ukuthi usuka eVreneging. You know, I know Vreneging is not in the Free State, but like
close enough.
Close enough. Masa Sasolburg. Akafuni utsho because they embarrassed in Sasolburg. Then you're just like, why? You know why? Where you from? No, I'm from the Eastern Cape. Usuke Cathcart, usuke Statarem, usuke Steke, usuke Lady Grey. That's where you are from, and you have to be proud about that. In fact, it's such a major achievement that you are from Lady Grey and you are doing so well in Johannesburg. So why are you embarrassed about it? Because if you are loud about it, there's a young girl, there's a young boy who is from Lady Grey or other surrounding small towns who will be inspired to say, Nanku Sisi, use Johannesburg, and is making it, Nam, I can do it. This is not my limitation, you know? But here you are, Wena. Crazy.
Supta, thank you so much. You are amazing. Like,
thank you.
I'm so glad we had this conversation. There's so much more we can talk about. But ngiyazi ukuthi umuntu busy and shaya is card. I think you got 10 minutes to get to where you need to.
Yes.
But you'll be fashionably late. You'll be like, guys, check my drip. That's why I'm late. I'm joking.
African time, I say,
yeah, you did. I was pretty impressed.
It's very important. It's very important that you respect people's time. And it says a lot about you. So I need to be out.
Thank you so much. Before you go, let me just say goodbye. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Please share, like, subscribe, follow. We've been with Supta, the A-class DJ.
A-class, don't forget it.
A-class DJ. Yeah. And surely it's been an A-class experience. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Guys, we'll catch you on the next one. Cheerio.